Welcome to this Introduction to Sharpen AI video. The purpose of this video is to go over all of the settings within the user interface so that you can get the most out of the application. Now I'm going to be working clockwise from the top left over to the right and then the bottom. And obviously we're already in Sharpen AI. We have other videos that will show you how to get your photos into Sharpen AI through Adobe Lightroom, Adobe Photoshop, and as a standalone. So be sure to check those out as well. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm using a Mac, but just about everything I show you will be the same on Windows as well, so you'll be able to follow along without any issue. To start, I'm actually going to go to the preferences of Sharpen AI, and I want to walk through some of these options here. The first two options allow you to control the file name. So when you save a photo out of Sharpen AI, you can add any sort of text to the beginning of the file as the prefix, as well as after the file name with the suffix. We added this to make it easier for you to identify your photos edited with Sharpen AI. Next, you have the option to add the processing mode to the suffix. So if you hover over the tooltip over here, you'll see an example where the file has a suffix of softness or focus based on the AI mode that you use, which we'll go over in a minute. Next, you'll have the option to enable or disable lens correction on your photo. And if you open a raw photo into Sharpen AI using the standalone workflow, we will also attempt to do some raw color correction if you have this option enabled. But as a note, if you send your photo from Lightroom or Photoshop, this option is moot. We won't do any color correction. Under the application section, there is the option to allow us to collect some anonymous data to help improve Sharpen AI. And then if you have the auto update preview enabled, as you change the slider values for the AI model, we'll automatically apply the preview changes. Next, you can choose the color of the preview background to make your photo pop more easily. And you can choose whether the control panel is on the left or the right side of your screen. And by default, it's on the right. Under the performance section, you have two dropdowns currently. The first is AI processor. By default, you might see it selected as CPU. So we highly recommend selecting the GPU option if you have one listed here. In some versions of Sharpen AI, if you see automatic as an option, that means that we will automatically identify what the ideal setting should be. For the allowed memory consumption, we have some general guidance here. If you have under 4 gigabytes of RAM, we recommend using low. If you have between 4 and 16 gigabytes of RAM, medium is a good option. And then if you have 16 gigabytes or more of RAM, you can specify high for your allowed memory consumption option. And that takes care of our preference options. So let's go back to the user interface. Starting on the top, you'll see three options here. The first is your zoom. If you click and drop down, you'll have various presets to zoom in. Zoom to fit will automatically zoom your photo in or out so that the entire image is shown on your screen. If you select zoom 50%, that'll zoom out to 50%. And if you select zoom 400, that will zoom in 400%. When you're zoomed in, you might want to reposition your photo to see the parts of the photo that you care most about. There are two ways that you can do this. You can either click and drag the photo and move it around, or in the navigator view, you can click on the focus box and move it around. Usually when I'm working on a photo, I like to hover between 100 and 200%. If you don't want to use one of the presets or you want to fine tune your zoom, there's also a zoom slider here. So dragging to the left zooms out and dragging to the right zooms in. So I'm just going to keep it right around here and then reposition the photo. Next to the zoom dropdown is a button labeled original. If you click on that, that will show you the original photo. And then when you let go, you'll see the processed version. You can also view your original just by clicking anywhere in the photo preview itself. And then when you let go, you'll have your processed version. It's basically the same thing. Finally, on the top, you have your view dropdown. This gives you various options on how to preview your original photo and your processed photo. The first default view is the single view, and this will show you your processed photo by itself in the full preview section. Next is split view, and this does exactly what the name says. It splits your photo so that the left-hand side of the photo is your original and the right is the processed. You can also take this bar and drag it. So if you drag it to the right, more of the original photo is going to be displayed. And when you drag it to the left, it starts revealing the processed photo. The third view option is side by side. And this puts the original version of your photo on the left-hand side of the screen, and then the processed version is on the right-hand side. And this is a really easy way to compare the original to the processed photo in real time. And finally, there is the comparison view. Now, before I select the comparison view, I want to draw your attention to the three different AI models under the image quality section on the right. They're motion blur, out of focus, and too soft. In some cases, it might be really handy to compare all three of these models at once, and that's where comparison view comes in. So when we select it, you'll see that the preview screen is broken into 4 quadrants. The top left quadrant will always show you your original, so that's your reference. Then the remaining 3 quadrants will show you the 3 different AI models. So you can see the top right is motion blur, the bottom left is out of focus, and the bottom right is too soft. Now, in addition to showing you the 3 different AI models, you can also refine the mode for each of the models. So let's say for the motion blur, it's currently set at normal. But if I also want to see what very noisy looks like, I can click on it and it will update this quadrant to reflect motion blur with the very noisy model. Same thing goes for very blurry too. When you've determined the model that you like the most, you can double click on it and it'll open up into a larger view. And here you can further refine whether you want it to be in this side-by-side view or in the split view or single view. I'll stick with side-by-side for now and reposition the photo just so that we have a better perspective of it. On the top right of the image quality section, you'll see an auto toggle switch. Toggling the switch on will tell Sharpen AI to analyze your photo and determine which model it thinks is best. And like I mentioned, you have the 3 different AI models: motion blur, out of focus, and too soft. Motion blur and too soft have 3 options: normal, very noisy, and very blurry. So you can see here, they're the same over here. Out of focus currently has a 4th option called advanced. The advanced option gives you control to 6 sliders, allowing you to get granular control over the output of your file. With all of the AI models and modes, you'll see another auto switch under the settings section. If you toggle it, Sharpen AI will attempt to determine the optimal settings for this photo. Of course, you can override this anytime if you want to refine the look of the photo to taste. And then finally, under post-processing, you have a slider to add grain to your photo. So if we take the slider and drag it all the way to the right, you can see that grain is added to introduce some more natural texture to the photo that might be lost as part of the noise reduction component of Sharpen AI. And if you don't want any grain added, all you need to do is drag the slider all the way to the left so that it's at 0. On the bottom right of the preview window in all of our modes, you'll see 2 little icons: a smiley face and a neutral face. We put this there as a way for you to communicate with us if you're really happy or unsatisfied with the results of your photo through Sharpen AI. Let's say you're happy with the photo and click on the smiley face. That information will be sent to us completely anonymous. It will never ever be used in any sort of public or marketing purpose. It's solely used for internal purposes to help us improve our AI models. And we hope you use it whether you're happy or unhappy with the results. If you're not happy with the results and click on that neutral face, that'll help us improve our models and will allow us to make Sharpen AI even better for you. On the bottom right of the photo, you'll see a blue Save Image button. When you're done working in Sharpen AI, you can click on Save Image to output your file. But before we go there are still a few more options on the bottom bar. You'll notice 2 icons on the bottom. The right icon is a trash bin, and you'll use that to close your active document. So when you're finished with this photo or you just don't want to continue working on it, you can click on it and it'll close the document. It won't delete your file. It's just going to close it out of Sharpen AI. And next to that is the mask icon. Clicking on that will bring you into masking mode. Now we have an entirely separate video diving deep into masking, so I recommend you check that out. And so when you're done masking, if you're happy with the mask, you can click on the Apply Mask button to commit it. Or if you want to go back without masking, you can click on Remove Mask to go back to Sharpen AI without any masking. Next to the 2 icons, you'll get a readout of the settings that you're using of the particular AI model, as well as the AI model itself and the mode. So in this case here, you can see that we're using the too soft AI model with a very blurry mode, and the blur sliders at 53, the suppressed noise sliders at 28, and we have 0 for grain. And when you're done and you want to output your photo, just click on the Save Image button, and you'll be presented with your options for the file that you want to save. If you click on the image format dropdown, you'll have various options here: JPEG, TIFF, PNG, and DNG. The quality slider pertains to the JPEG file format. And if you use another format like TIFF, for example, that slider will not be present. Next, you can further customize the output file name if you want, the color profile that will be embedded into that file, and then where the file will be saved. If you have source selected, that will save the file back to the folder that the original file is located, and custom allows you to choose a specific folder to save the output file. And when you're done, just click on Save to complete the process. And with that, you should now have a better understanding of how to use Sharpen AI and how it can further improve the quality of your photo.